What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 2, Episode 16. So, we start the episode off with the brothers. We have Maurice and Marceau. Maurice is checking up on Marceau after the car accident. He's by himself because Letitia is still out of town, you know, with school. And his mother-in-law, Miss Wanda, then went back to Birmingham with the churn. And of course, he's like, there's nobody here to take care of me. Marceau, if you don't get your grown ass up, if you up walking around fixing coffee, you aight. But I know sometimes we just want to be pampered and want to be loved on. Now, Maurice was like, you know, he was like, I'm sorry I missed the camping trip. Maurice was like, yeah, you know, we actually had a good time, you know. Marcel actually opened up to us and you know, he shared some things, and you know, Marceau was like, well, what you share? Kudos to you, Maurice. Kudos to you, because Maurice was like, I ain't breaking bro code, not even for my brother. I told Martel that the information he shared with us would not leave this circle, and it is not even for my brother. And the most he would tell his brother was, Martel shared some things with us, and I think y'all need to talk because y'all were once really good friends, and he needs a friend right now. So I think you really need to call your brother. I said, that's what I'm talking about, Maurice. If more people would respect the boundaries of confidentiality, we would have a lot less shit to talk about. Okay, moving on. Then we had this very awkward placed scene with Melody and her kids, telling them how beautiful they are, how they're kings and queens, and how their hair is their crown, and their braids, you know, descended from African royalty, and everybody has different textured hair, and some is curly, some is straight, some is this, and some is that. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with the conversation, let's be clear. I think it was a beautiful conversation, and I think it's something that we need to give our children affirmations all day, every day. It was just a very produced moment and a very awkward to watch moment, because it was like, huh? But then you find out that it was setting up for the phone call that Melody made to Letitia. Now, come to find out, Marceau was right in being upset with Miss Wanda. His approach was wrong, which I think I said when it happened that Miss Wanda probably won't innocent in the situation, but the way Martel rolled up on Miss Wanda won't cool. Now, she calls Letitia to kind of talk to Letitia about what her mother said. Letitia, this is shit that I don't like that you do. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you don't know your mama did what she did. And I'm going to tell you why. As a YouTuber, if my name is ever in anybody else's mouth, good or bad, people are all in my DMs, people are all in my emails, and if they know me personally and got my phone number, they texting me, girl, so-and-so said such and such. You're not going to sit here and tell me, Letitia, that on a platform this big, this many people watching, that when your mama went live down to the Instagram and started talking about Melody and her churn, that ain't nobody tell you that what your mama said. I don't believe it. You are not, there's nothing you can ever say to me to convince me that you didn't know what those hosts was mad about. You're not going to convince me of that. Letitia, you really need to stop with this blind, I get it, she your mama. I get it. We're going to always respect and protect our moms. But when your mama is that wrong, all you have to do is acknowledge it and move on. You wouldn't even acknowledge the conversation. Now, I feel like Melody is calling you, giving you the respect to say, listen, Martel, I didn't like the way Martel rolled up on your mama, but I felt where Martel was coming from, and I really didn't appreciate your mom talking about my children on her public platform and speaking about their hair. Now, I don't know what Ms. Wanda said. I know the live is floating around out there. I just don't care enough to click it. But I believe it, because we know that Ms. Wanda done went live and said worse about Melody. So I believe it. And the fact that Melody called Letitia in the midst of this spat or whatever it is that they're having tells me that it was real. So while they're having this conversation, of course, Letitia apologizes. I'm so sorry. If my mama said that, oh, I did not know. Oh, I didn't know my mama would have said such a thing. Oh, my mama wouldn't say that. I'm so sorry, Melody. I'm so sorry, Melody. Melody, I'm so sorry. I'm having this event I'm having this brown girls event. Why don't you bring the children? Martell can drop the kids off. Melody was like, how Martell getting this conversation? And I was thinking the same thing. How Martell getting this conversation, Letitia? Well, I mean, I don't know. Basically, in a nice way, what you were saying was the kids can come and Martell can bring them, but I don't really want you to come. That's how I took it, and I feel like that's how Melody took it too. But I like how Melody handled it, because she was just like, let's redirect this. No, I'm not gonna be. No, first of all, Martell's not bringing the kids. If this is something dealing with my children, especially my little girls and their hair, and this is all, because Letitia said, well, it's an all-girl event. Then why would you even bring Martell's name up? First of all, that's not even your conversation to have. You invite them, you let them know what the situation is going to be, and however it's going to be is however it's going to be. For you to say, well, Martell can, that don't have nothing to do with you. Just invite them. Either they coming or they not. Either Melody going to bring them or she not. But like Melody said, I'm not going to just be dropping my girls off to no event. No, I'm staying. I'm their mama. It's an all-girls event, right? It's for black girls. I got 3 of them. We'll be there. Well, she said if I could make it work for my schedule. But I just thought that was a really weird conversation. It was really weird. It was really awkward. And Letitia, you just do the most. I swear you just do the most. So, Letitia's home. And shortly after she gets home, Miss Wanda comes through the door with the churn. Now, Marceau, you know, this is one of those scenes where Marceau's old-fashioned, barbaric, archaic mindset comes out, because he made a couple of comments to Letitia about, well, if you had been here to take care of me, this wouldn't have happened. Well, if you had been here, this wouldn't have happened. Well, if you had been here, I mean, I understand. If you would just come back home, if you would just, and she said, are we having this conversation again about me being a stay-at-home mom? And he was like, no, I'm just saying. She's like, you know, I'm in school. And he was like, well, I mean, can't you find a way to do that and be home? And I was just like, Marceau, if y'all don't, like, you have lost that battle, sir. If you don't move forward, like, I like you, Marceau, but this is the part that I don't like about you, Marceau. I really need you to let go of that mindset. That's not who you married. That's not who she is. And even if that's who you married, that's not who she is now. I need you to move forward, accept who she is, where she is, and move, and let it make it do what it do. She is in school getting a business degree so she can help run y'all's companies, okay? Anyway. Then Miss Wanda rolls in the door, and that turns into a whole argument. That just turns into a whole argument. Again, in that situation, I think both of them behaved badly. I think Marceau behaved badly, and I think Miss Wanda behaved badly. Now, what made Marceau go from first gear to third gear, I don't drive a stick, so I'm going to assume that that's what that does, was when Miss Wanda went back to him being a cheater. And started talking about him having affairs. Well, where were you, Marceau, when you had the accident? Why was you driving a sports car to a campground anyway, Marceau? Why were you going camping anyway, Marceau? Why you couldn't wait till your wife came home, Marceau? I just like the way she say Marceau at the end of every statement, right? Now, let's be clear. Again, if me and my wife had a conversation, well, my husband, had a conversation about where I'm going and what I'm doing, it's not your concern, and it's not your place to question it. That's number 1. Number 2, why are we still talking about me cheating? Why are we still talking about me? Like, again, why are we still doing that? And Letitia was in the middle. And again, I understand when it comes to her husband and her mom going back and forth, she is in a really bad situation. It's her husband and it's her mother. And they were going at it. I mean, they were being nasty to each other. And like I said, I can see where both of them could have stopped and walked away, and they chose not to. And it got to the point where Marceau basically put her out the house. It's not funny, because I think he was dead ass serious. Like, I don't even think it was a play. I think he was dead ass serious about her not coming back in that house. Like, but I understand where he's coming from. Like, listen, if you're not gonna respect me, you're not gonna respect our marriage, then I just need you to not be here. You're not going to keep every chance you get, keep coming in here and telling me that I'm a cheater and I ain't no good. Like, I'm just not going to have you keep walking in my house and talking to me like that in front of my children and around my children. Because the kids could hear them. The kids were standing on the steps and could hear the whole conversation, you know. But it was bad. It was hard to watch, to be honest with you. It was a long scene. And it was a really hard to watch scene because I felt for all three of those people. All three of them are in really bad situations, and you know. But here's where once again, Letitia, you almost got out of this whole thing, you know, scot-free, because I really feel like the majority of this fell on your mama and on Marceau. But here's where I gotta come for you a little bit, Miss Tisha. When your mom left, now you're mad because he done put your mama out the house, but you got every right to be mad about that. But then you chose to throw in his face what your mama said. And why were you driving a sports car to a campground anyway? You got a truck out there. You got other vehicles. Why are you driving a sports car? See, you let your mama plant that seed. You let your mama plant that seed. Because, see, that's what your mama said. Why you driving a sports car to go camping? That's what your mama said. So you let your mama plant a seed in your head about what about him maybe doing something else and why and him not really going camping. Now, side note, if I have to be honest, I kind of had the same question myself. Last week, I don't know if I said it in my review or not, but I kind of felt the same way last week. I was like, why was he driving that car anyway? Like, that's not a camping car. But like he said, I bought the sports car to drive. I wanted to drive it. It might have just been that damn simple. Anyway, so Martell has to go and talk to his friend, the realtor, and explain to him that the 47 acres is off the table because of the divorce. And I know I read about this in the paper on the blogs or whatever a few months back, that there was some money discrepancies, that he was accusing Melody of taking money out of their joint account. Melody was accusing him of doing some things. And as a result, I think the court put a pause on everything so they could review the finances and really do a deep dive into what was really going on with the money. And as a result, the 47 acres now he cannot sell. Now, from what his friend was saying is that they had those 47 acres are under contract. And they've actually started doing stuff on that land. Now, from my understanding, from when I bought my house, under contract is not final. Under contract, you know, as long as there could be a contract on the house, but anything can fall through at any time, and it's not set in stone. So, you know, his realtor was like, well, you know, this could really be ugly because they could come after me for this could be a lawsuit. Because, as far as they're concerned, it's a done deal. And Martell did say something that again, you know, I have to agree with Martell. He said, yeah, but, you know, they've been dragging their butts on this for months. Had we closed this deal before this, we might be all right. But because they sort of drag, you know, they drug their feet and pushed this whole process out so far, and now we are where we are. Like, I was trying to get this deal done because, honestly, you know, that was $250,000 going in my pocket that I really kind of need for the divorce. So, again, I know in business things happen, and I know things, you know, they drag along and they don't, you know, I get it. But I did understand where Martell was coming from, saying, listen, we've been trying to do this deal for the last 6 months. It wouldn't have been an issue had we been able to close. Anyway, so we are at the Brown Girls event. Let me say this. It was an excellent event. It was an excellent event. He had a room full of young girls, I'm assuming all under the age of like 18, with their mom. You know, there was a lot of moms in the room. And it was Letitia and her cousin, and they were speaking about basically giving little brown girls that self-esteem, letting them know that we all look different. We have different hues with different shades. Our hair is different. Our features are different, but we are all strong black women. We are all confident black women. And I was here for it. I thought it was a great program. They spoke on a young entrepreneur, young lady who started her own crayon line because every time she went to the crayon box, all she found was peach or chocolate. And I remember that as a kid too. You either had the white crayon, that peach crayon, or the brown crayon, or black. And if you had the cheap box, which, you know, most of us didn't have the 64 box. We had the short box, the 24 box. I don't even know if peach came in the 24 box. I don't even know. One of the young ladies spoke, and she said something about somebody questioning her being black because she was so light-skinned, saying, well, you're not as black. You're not really black. You know, as to qualify her blackness. And she put them in their place, told them, I'm black because that's what I am. I'm black. That's my color. I'm black. And I think that, you know, it was a really good moment, a good conversation, and I can appreciate the moment. I I can appreciate the moment. I can appreciate the event. You could tell that this was not an event that was just thrown together for the purposes of the camera. It was a room full of women and young ladies and girls. I could appreciate that Melody took her children, you know, and was there. I can appreciate that Kimmy was there. She probably had to be there for the show. But I can appreciate the fact Kimmy didn't even have a little girl, but I can appreciate the fact that Kimmy is there, you know. When the late, you know, they had little breakout activities for the kids. So while the kids were doing that, the ladies were sitting around talking. And Destiny is letting Melody know, listen, I want to do a little girls retreat. I want us to go away, and I want to invite everybody. And Melody, they didn't think Melody was going to come, honey. But Melody agreed to come, and they were like, wow, Melody is going to come. And she agreed to come, and then they asked Letitia. Letitia had to qualify. Well, who's coming? Well, how far are we going? Well, can we drive our own car in case we want to leave? And Melody got up from the, and you know, rather than argue with Letitia, she disengaged herself from the conversation. And I understand Letitia's point. I may not agree with how Letitia handles things, but I understand Letitia's point. She said, listen, the last time we went on a trip, it ain't end too well, and I just am not up for that. Like, I don't want to go into an environment where I'm just going to beat up on all weekend. Like, I just don't want to do that. You know, she did negotiate it down to a day trip. You know, she said, I don't know if I'm ready for a weekend, but maybe I could do a day trip. Melody did double back around and say, Letitia, can I talk to you? And she told her, listen, I was feeling some negativity, you know, and that's why I walked away. But I really do want to talk to you. You know, I'm really at a place, you know, with everything that we've been through this year and everything that's happened in our world, I'm really at a place where I just want peace. I just don't want to carry this on. I don't want it to linger on. I just want peace. And, you know, I would like to go on this trip. I would like for us to find maybe some peace. And Letitia, I feel like, kept kind of yang. But eventually they were able to sort of find a place. You know, I don't know how long it's going to last, but they were. Because from the previews next week, we see where the ladies come around, you know. So we have Kimmy, Destiny, Melody, and Letitia. And you know what I loved in this moment? We had a whole Black Girl Magic moment, because those four women sat around and talked about all the things that they're doing, all the moves that they're making. Destiny has just been nominated to the board of the Chamber of Commerce. Kimmy is working with the NAACP on the virtual anniversary of the walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. This was prior to the death of John Lewis, because she spoke of John Lewis. Letitia she talked about something she was doing, and with the opening of Black, you know, them opening up their bar and the soft opening. And of course we know Melody had a few things that she mentioned. I can't remember off the top of my head, y'all. But all of these women are making moves, and that moment showed that these are some movers and shakers in Huntsville, in the world, in the society. And it's not just about reality TV, and it's not just about something for the blogs. They are really doing it, and I can appreciate it, that moment, so much. That whole part of the show was everything for me. It was everything for me. And going back to that scene with Melody with her children, it set all of this up. So in the moment, that first scene was really, again, for me, it seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere, and it was a little awkward, but it set all of this up for the rest of the episode. And so, you know what? Bravo. So, I know it's bravo. Please don't put that in my comments. So, last but not least, we have Martell with the kids going to visit his mama. And Martell comes clean to his mom, and he lets his mom know that he just don't think things are going to get any better with him and Melody. Things have just gotten worse. And he comes clean with her about the baby. And he said, you know, I wish it weren't true, but it is. You know, he said she's pregnant, and I'm just trying to make the best out of the situation. She said, oh, you ain't got no choice. You ain't got no choice but to make the best out of the situation. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to make it happen. And then I felt so bad for his mother, because his mother broke down. She broke down for Melody. She said, I love Melody. That's my daughter. I love her. And I never wanted to see her hurt like this. I never wanted to see her hurt like this. and she was feeling it. Like, you could see it was real. You could see that it was real, that she really felt some kind of way about the situation. And I saw a little bit of humanity in Martell as well. You know, he said that he wished it were different, although it didn't stop you from sleeping with that woman, but whatever. I felt like I saw something, a glimpse. This is 2 weeks in a row that I feel like Martell is sort of letting down that bravado a little bit, just a little bit, and letting us in. Anyway, y'all, that's it. That's all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.